Today we are filming a short documentary about backyard composting, mainly about the kitchen waste. Now we are visiting a family that practice composting at their backyard. So let us see their backyard and how they decompose their food waste.
Nice.
Miss Efren, can you explain more about what is composting?
Oh, composting is basically about the natural way of recycling involving the biological process which they break down the organic waste such as manure, paper, coffee ground, and etc. into extremely useful humus.
Okay, is there any food waste that we cannot compost?
Yeah, there are certain like meat and meat waste, fish and fish waste, oil, grease, and any kind of it. That there are things that we cannot compost.
So what's the reason that we cannot compost?
Because they break down slowly and they will attract the rodents and other scavenging animals.
Okay, thank you, Miss Efra. For your information, there are two major ways of composting, namely cold and hot composting. So, Miss Catherine, can you tell us about what is hot composting?
As the hot composting is like you're raising the temperature in the compost pile, and then to create an environment suitable for the microbes to decompose the kitchen waste. So, however, for the hot composting, you need more care. Then, for the material for hot composting, you need 25 parts of carbon. The carbon source can get from like unprocessed cardboard or the woods, and then you still need 1 part of nitrogen. The nitrogen you can get from the kitchen waste or the grass clipping. Okay, and then like for the compost, you need the compost pile. You need to like turn it 2 to 3 weeks also, and then with careful care, the compost can be ready in you can ready in within 1 month. Okay, also do you know that actually some people they will like use the compost, can cook the compost to like make it faster the process.
Really?
Yeah, so some of them also like since the hot composting they will produce a lot of heat, right? Some people they put the pipe for the hot shovel inside so that to heat up the water. Yeah, that is all about hot composting.
Okay, thank you, Miss Catherine.
Yeah, but
After we have discussed about the hot composting, now we move to the cold composting. So, Meiji, can you explain more about it?
The cold composting is not nearly as precise as hot. You add the compost ingredients according to what you have on hand, and the internal temperature really raise up. The cold composting may take up to 1 year. Finished soil is removed from the bottom of the pile. For use, special compost bins allow access to the bottom. This method of composting is great for one person who doesn't create too much of the waste. Since the temperatures stay low, pathogens are not killed off. This means no meat or potentially dangerous ingredients can be added to the compost. Esther, did you know that the cold compost can be more successful with the crumpled newspaper added?
No, I don't know.
The paper allow more oxygen to get into the pile. Some people will feel that the cold composting will have more beneficial microorganisms survive.
So, Meiji, what is a common way of composting in our backyard?
Normally, we will use the trench composting method. Okay, the premise is very simple. First of all, you just need to dig the trench about 12 inches deep, or about 30 cm. Then throw in the food waste. Chop and mix with the soil. Then cover it with the remaining soil. Okay, after a few months, the rodent material will have been incorporated into the soil and you can plant above them.
Okay, thank you, Meiji. Miss Yongwei, what is the advantage of the composting?
Okay. Firstly, composting kitchen waste can reduce our own garbage and also reduce the amount of waste going into landfills. Secondly, we can create a rich fertilizer that can be used to improve our garden, landscaping, and grass. This fertilizer is also an economic benefit since no longer have to purchase fertilizer at garden shop. Composting kitchen waste has also additional benefits for the environment. For example, it can reduce pollution because composting keeps organic matter out of landfills, thus reducing the amount of methane gas production happening in a garbage disposal area. Besides, it also promotes healthy growth. Soil-free and plants in areas with compost are healthier, and the incidence of plant disease and pests that may kill or damage plants are lower when the soil has composted matter in it.
Okay, thank you, Yongwei. Miss Yasin, do you have any point to add on?
Okay, compost is a natural and complete food for the soil. We can improve the soil structure and the water retaining ability. Composting is the best way to handle our food waste. Kitchen generate a lot of waste. By composting, we can contribute toward a greener environment. Composting kitchen food waste is easy and require a little time, effort, and space. We can convert our dustbin content into rich and organic manure and grow plant with it. Thank you.
Thank you, Yasin. That's all for today. Thank you for all the interviewees for the interview today.
Yeah, bye bye. And also we want to give you a
Thank
small
you. Say
present.
goodbye to the.
Okay, bye bye.
Hello, welcome back. First half, we have seen in the backyard composting regarding the kitchen waste. So now we are going to have a discussion on the backyard composting in terms of mortality management. This is because we do have breeders that have poultry, livestock, and fisheries. So how do they conduct the backyard composting? So let's have a look. Please, Tricia, can you maybe explain more about mortality management?
The mortality of animals happens in the day-to-day can be significant. Animals dying due to disease, injury, and other disease and other causes. Okay, the mortality rate is generally highest for newborn animals because of their vulnerability. Okay, there are three main reasons for mortality management, that is hygienic purposes, aesthetic reasons, and also environmental protection.
Thank you, Tricia. Now we are moving to Miss Judy. What are the techniques that practice when they do the composting?
Okay, firstly, let me explain on the mortality management. There involves two types. First, we have in the term of poultry, and another one is the livestock. Both are different because both have different size. And backyard composting for poultry management, of course, firstly we have to choose the well-drained place and the backyard, and we have the elevated ground because to avoid the leaching of the due to the water flooding. And the size of the composter, that means for poultry we choose the bin composting. So the size of the bin composting is equal to the size of the animal, that means the chicken. And it is implemented of backyard composting has various size of bins and various compartments because we cannot make the poultry dead for one batch is separate from another batch. And there are two primary and secondary bins for the composting. And first primary bins we put the composting material. Second bin is after 10 to 12 days we mix up the composting materials to promote additional heat for promoting the better composition. And okay, the method for poultry for bin, first layer 6 to 8 inches we put the leaf of dry plants, and second layer we add the poultry, the dead poultry, and third layer we add a showful or 2 showful of the garden soil for better compost, and lastly we add some water to make it moist. not to keep wet and moist. And lastly, we turn the pipe for mixing up, for aeration, for better promoting of the composition. And for livestock, we choose both methods. Being also possible. Another one is the windrowing, because the size of cattle is too big, so we choose windrowing. And during choosing the windrowing, there are few benefits. No fence is needed. The carcasses are covered with 24 inches of bulking agent, which no specific measurement. And also the pile management follow the bin structure, nothing much of the modification in terms of method. And then we also can use the bin. For bin composting in livestock, we address it as packed. So the pack, okay, firstly the head of the cattle and leg of the cattle should be tied up, because to avoid the obstruction and to avoid the formation of the odor. And then 50% of moisture is maintained, and we add some carbon cover. And that's all for the technique.
Thank you, G, for your explanation. Okay, we have discussed about the methods and procedures in managing the mortality management. So, what are the advantages of this management? So, Ms. Wu, can you set out the advantage?
Well, for the advantage for the composting in backyard, we can conserve the nutrient contained in the dead animals as we bury it in the soil or dry it or whatever. And it has no odor as we bury it in the soil. And it is environmentally safe as we do not add in chemical substance or something else. And we do not need to store dead animals for utilization in finished compost, and this is very low cost.
Thank you, Ms. Lulu. That are all the advantages of mortality management. So, what are the disadvantages? So, let's have Ms. Jiawen to continue.
Okay, about the disadvantage, there are some disadvantages regarding the time. The time commitment involved in a proper mortality composting may be the biggest disadvantage. In order for the compost to declare uniformly and properly, so turning the compost approximately is necessary. There is another disadvantage regarding the pet. Composting of the declaring materials has the potential to attract the pets such as rat, mice, and also flies. This may be due to the inadequate cover of carcasses and also the poor sanitation condition. So in order to solve this problem, so covering the carcass with sufficient bulking agent is necessary. And lastly, there is another disadvantage, which is about the odor. The mortality composting has the potential to be very smelly, and it will affect your neighboring house, your neighbors or your family. So this may be due to the inadequate cover of carcasses and extended periods of low temperature. So to solve this problem, adding more bulking agent is necessary. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jiawen. So, Ms. Yan, do you have any opinion regarding the mortality management?
In my opinion, the death of the farm animals and the poultry animals should be managed and the compost properly near our house. Proper management of the animal carcass near our house has the implications in future management, because at frost health as well as the farm animal and the hunting health. There are some suggestions can be for the backyard composting. Firstly, we can mix the compost with the soils to improve the soil quality. Next, we can use it to fill in the low spot in the yards, and then we can use it as a mulch for the landscape and the garden plants. And finally, we can mix the compost in the soils for the water plants. It's important to understand the capability and the difference and limitation of the different waste management options in order to make the convenience waste management decision, and at the same time we can protect our health and the environment. That's it.
Alright, thank you, Ms. Yan. Now, our discussion has come to the end. I believe that you have gained a lot of information about the mortality management. So, thank you for all the panelists to attend this discussion. Thank you. Bye-bye.